Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a script we found from a YouTube podcast, Clarity of Life. The episode's called Why Comfort is Killing Your Dreams.
Yeah, and our plan for this deep dive is really to pull apart the main ideas in that script.
Hmm.
We want to explore how this whole pursuit of comfort, specifically as the source sees it playing out in the U.S., might actually be, subtly stopping us from reaching our goals and growing.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? I mean, have you ever felt that? Like you're settled into a comfortable routine, things feel easy, but there's this little voice, maybe, suggesting you could be aiming higher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exactly what we're getting into. We'll look at why that feeling pops up and what this Clarity of Life script suggests we can maybe do about it.
Okay, so let's jump right into their main point, what they call the comfort trap. It's a really interesting term for something I think many people experience.
Totally. The script describes it so well with that cycle. You wake up, scroll on your phone for a bit, grab coffee, the commute, work, then maybe Netflix, sleep, and boom, you do it all over again.
Right, it's that hamster wheel feeling. You're busy, but maybe not actually moving towards something different.
Exactly. And they use this example, Alex and Maya in Chicago. Ambitious people, talented, apparently.
Yeah, but the script points out that after about 5 years, their big goals have kind of stalled. It really highlights that trade-off, doesn't it? The discomfort you need for growth versus just sticking with the easy, familiar routine.
It shows how easily comfort can win out day to day.
And the script calls this pattern normal life, which, sounds fine on the surface.
Right. Who doesn't want a normal, comfortable life?
But the argument is that normality, that ease, can actually stop you from making progress on the things you really care about. You sort of drift into contentment, and the big dreams, they get pushed aside.
Yeah, put on the back burner indefinitely. It makes you wonder how often we do that without even noticing.
Which brings us to the next bit in the script, which is pretty fascinating, the brain science behind it all. Why we're so drawn to comfort.
Ah, okay.
Well, it reminds us that our brain's #1 job, fundamentally, is keeping us safe. Survival. It's not necessarily programmed for, massive success or achieving huge ambitions.
Yeah. Safety first. So those comfortable things we do, eating tasty food, scrolling social media, they trigger dopamine, right? The script talks about that.
Exactly. It mentions the dopamine reward system, but it makes a crucial point. Just because something feels good and gives you that little dopamine hit doesn't mean it's actually helping you advance or get closer to your long-term goals. The script suggests this constant hunt for easy pleasure can actually make our dreams feel, well, less likely to happen.
So are we maybe confusing feeling good now with actually making progress? That's kind of the implication.
That seems to be the core question raised there, yeah.
Okay, so it's a bit counterintuitive then. The script flips it and suggests that maybe the very thing we try to avoid discomfort is actually necessary.
That's the next big idea they push. That achieving anything really significant, those big dreams we talk about, almost always involves stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
It means facing some kind of unease.
Like what kind of unease?
Well, it could be hard work, the fear of failing, maybe criticism, or just this simple effort of pushing past obstacles. And the script implies that our instinct to avoid that feeling might be what's actually holding us back.
And they use some big names to make this point, right? I remember seeing Oprah, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and Steve Jobs. People from totally different worlds. But the script connects them through their willingness to embrace the tough stuff.
The grind.
Exactly. The early mornings dealing with failures, rejection, even periods of just, intense focus, maybe loneliness. They didn't shy away from the discomfort.
Okay, so bringing it back to Alex and Maya.
Right. The script revisits them. They had those initial plans, the business idea, the screenplay. But the appeal of comfortable weekends, predictable plans, just gradually took over. It shows how that initial ambition can get kind of smothered by the everyday desire for ease.
It makes you think, how many great ideas are just sitting there because the comfort of not doing them won out?
It's a sobering thought. And then the script shifts focus a bit, looking at the wider environment, especially in the U.S., and how it might actually encourage this comfort seeking.
Ah, the cultural context. How did that fit in?
Well, the script suggests that American culture often frames comfort as, the ideal state, something to strive for.
Okay, examples.
It gives quite a few. Think about drive-thrus everywhere.
Yeah.
Streaming services with endless options on demand, 2-day shipping for almost anything.
One-click ordering, endless social media feeds.
Exactly. It's an environment almost built for instant gratification and ease.
So the script draws a contrast, then, between how easy it is to get comfort versus how hard it is to achieve dreams.
Precisely. Accessing comfort is often effortless, immediate. But pursuing something truly meaningful, that usually takes time, effort, persistence, and yeah, dealing with discomfort along the way. The path of least resistance is definitely paved with comfort.
So while there's loads of opportunity, the script is saying there are also just as many easy ways to get distracted, settle into comfort, and maybe lose sight of bigger goals.
That's the idea. Does the sheer ease of modern life paradoxically make it harder to pursue things that require sustained effort? The script seems to suggest yes.
Okay, so we've outlined the trap, the brain science, need for discomfort, the cultural angle. It could feel a bit bleak. Does the script offer any way out?
Thankfully, yes. It pivots towards solutions, practical steps someone could take.
Good. What kind of things?
What I like is that it focuses on small, manageable actions. It's not about, flipping your whole life upside down tomorrow.
Okay, like what?
Things like maybe saying no to just 1 hour TV or scrolling, or setting the alarm just 30 minutes earlier to work on something important, or even just committing to doing one small thing each day that feels a little bit uncomfortable.
Building momentum with small wins.
Exactly. It's about starting small.
And there was this concept, replacing comfort rituals.
Yes, replacing comfort rituals with courage rituals. Thought that was a great phrase.
Explain that a bit.
It's about consciously choosing an action that feels a bit challenging, but serves your larger goal, instead of automatically doing the easy, familiar thing. So maybe, instead of scrolling Instagram when bored, you pick up that book related to your project or make that call you've been avoiding. A small act of courage instead of comfort.
I like that framing, a courage ritual. And how does it see Alex and Maya then in this light?
Well, it reframes their situation quite nicely, I think. Not necessarily as failures, but maybe they're just at a point where they need that clarity, that awareness of the pattern. And then they need to make a conscious choice to try something different, to break the routine. The script suggests that just recognizing the trap is like the crucial first step to getting out of it.
So wrapping this all up then, the main takeaway from this clarity of life script seems pretty clear.
Yeah, that comfort zone. It feels good, it feels safe, but staying there too long can genuinely stifle your dreams, your potential.
The stuff that really matters to you, your bigger goals, they often live just outside that boundary of what feels easy.
Right. Growth pretty much requires stretching beyond that. Embracing a little bit of that discomfort seems key, according to this source.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, picking up on the script's tone. Is there an ambition you hold, something you really want that might be sort of fading away because your comfortable routines have taken over?
And building on that, what's one small act, maybe even a slightly uncomfortable act of courage, that you could do today or maybe tomorrow, just to nudge that dream back to life?